So, full disclosure, I am notoriously slow to upgrade my operating system, and Apple just announced that macOS 27 is coming. I think it's called Golden Gate or Golden Bridge or something like that. So, of course, today I finally upgraded to 26 Tahoe. And the first thing I really wanted to check out was Apple's Foundation Models Framework. So if you're not familiar with this and you're on Tahoe, you have a little LLM running on your machine. It powers Siri and a bunch of other things, and you can tap into it. I went to their website. There's a bunch of Swift stuff here, and I like Swift enough. But here's the thing that I learned. The LLM is really stupid. It's really tiny, and it's got like a context window of 4K, I think. So what's really cool is I found this thing called Apfel or Apfel. I'm not entirely sure, and we're going to take a look at that in this video. Now, this is by a developer named Franz, and there's his last name, and I'm going to go with Eisenhofer, which is, I'm sorry, Franz, I probably butchered that. The repository where Apfel is in this Arthur Fischl repository, and I'll have links to all this in the description. And he's been going to town. He's got all sorts of Apfel stuff and what he calls sister projects, and it's really, really cool, and you should look at them all. But for now, I'm going to focus on Apfel, which, again, is really cool. And it just lets you install this little Swift CLI that lets you tap into the local LLM that's already running on your machine, the foundation models. So to install it, you just do brew install Apfel. So we're going to go ahead and install that with Homebrew, clear out the console, and there are 3 ways that we can run Apfel. And the first one we'll take a look at is chat. So we get there with Apfel, double tack chat. I'm going to say write a Python function that reverses a string. It's going to come back with some Python. I'm not that great at Python. This looks pretty good. I'm going to say rewrite it in JavaScript. So note that I'm saying it. I'm not saying anything else. And so we have some amount of context history here. We have some amount of memory, and that's really cool. It wrote it, and it's not the best in the world, but this will do. It works. It totally works. I'm going to quit the chat by saying quit. I'm going to clear out the console. The next way we can run this is Apfel serve. And what's really interesting about this is it is using the exact same port number as Ollama. And that should tell you something. You can, if you're writing code that's running against Ollama or OMLX or anything that's using like AI SDK or something like that that's OpenAI-compatible, you could run this and you could run that code against it. So if I click here on models and load it up, we can see, cool, I got my models and all's well. We're running against the Apple Foundation model. Cool. So I'm going to close that, and we're going to take a look at the last one, which is the CLI version. And this is the simplest one, but I actually think it's the one with the most potential. So what I'm going to say is, hey, Apfel, what is the weather in Chicago? And this is going to fail. Not horribly. It's going to be like, why don't you check a site that has the weather? Because it has no access to the internet. It has no tools. It doesn't have anything. It's definitely not the dumbest model I've ever run on my machine, but it's pretty stupid. But it does turn out it's actually pretty good at one thing. So I'm going to CD into, so I have this OSS repos where I just kind of keep a bunch of repositories that I'm pulling from GitHub and whatnot that I'm keeping track of. So I'm jumping into A-step C++. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say cat build all sh, which is a shell file here. I'm going to pipe that to Apfel. I'm going to say tac-q, which should suppress any tool call output. I'm going to say tac-s, which is a system prompt. And I'm just going to say explain this code. All right, that took maybe 5 seconds. And I'm just going to say this looks pretty good to me. I'm going to clear this out. And what I realized is I could take this and then I could pipe that further to, let's say, a build all markdown. And if I cat build all markdown, there it is. Everything's there. It's already in markdown. That's great. So I'm going to paste this in, but what it's doing is saying git log the latest 10, and then the exact same command structure that I had, but summarize this git log in 2 to 4 sentence, group some changes, blah, blah, blah. And so it's going to look at the git log, and it's going to tell us what it's about in a nice little paragraph. There you go. I'm going to assume this is accurate information. I'm not going to double check it right now. But this led me to the next thing I want to show you. So I'm going to clear this out. Just going to cd into my dev tools. I'm going to touch a new file called what'sup.sh. And then I'm going to open that up in Z. Now I'm just going to drop in this code that I wrote. And what it's basically doing is I have this directory called OSS repos that just has a bunch of open source repositories that I'm keeping track of. And then my output directory is my Obsidian vault. And I'm saying, create a file, OSS summary, today's date, and the markdown. And then I basically just iterate through the root directory. I make sure it's a Git directory. I pull the latest, and then I do that almost the exact same, but I went with 15 summarization of the Git log, and then I just output that to that file. So we're going to try that out. I'm going to make sure that guy is executable, and then I'm just going to symlink that on my machine so I can just be anywhere and run what's up. So just to make sure that it's not tied to this directory, I'm in my home directory. I'm going to say what's up. I'm going to load up Obsidian while that's running, and it's already started. It is working on creating this file for me. So there is my groovy little, hey, this is where the open source repository that I'm interested is at. And it's all loaded up on my phone because I run live sync in the house. So I could put that on a cron job and just have it run every day and tell me how things are going in this open source repository. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. That is what the Apple Foundation model is actually good at. It is actually good at summarizing things. And if you get a little creative with it, you could have it summarize a bunch of stuff. You could have it summarize those summaries. So I do think there's potential here. It's not going to change your life. But with the upcoming operating system update, if you watch the WWDC presentations, it does seem like, I guess it's going to be some sort of distilled from Gemini model. So they are making some updates there. So I think it's a good time to start playing with this if you haven't played with it, because we may see some vast improvements in the near future.